nii, salvestama, kõik on. All right, so let's start. So first thing first, .NET 6 came out. So now the question is, shall we upgrade? You have to, basically. And no, you don't have to necessarily, but one problem you will hit is this, that now when the 6.0 is released, all the NuGet packages are now marked as released. So when you do any kind of NuGet install, you have to be really, really careful that you don't install any of the 6.0 packages, that you stick to the 5.0 something. So you have to check them manually, which goes with what. So definitely don't install any of the 6.0 packages then. But otherwise, I have upgraded everything. So if I do now this, so this is now 6.0 100. The same with .NET tools list, I think, was it? No. No. Was it tool? Just list. So the same way, all my tooling is also updated. So you can see what you have with this .NET tool list command with the key G as a global. Then you can see what is global installed for you. So all mine are also updated to the 6.0. And the next step you need to do. So first you need to install the SDK 6.0. Then you need to update the tooling, both the .NET EF and the .NET ASP.NET code generator. And then the next thing you need to do, you need to install a new version of Rider. So, and it's the Rider EAP, so early access program. The Rider is not yet released for the .NET 6. So now I have two Riders here. I have the EAP and just the Rider. So the Rider EAP is the one that will or has the support for the .NET 6. It actually brings many benefits. One probably really nice thing is hot reload in all the application types. So you do not need most of the time. You do not need to restart your application. So everything just is reloaded behind the scenes. So that one works fine. And then we have a few language with the .NET 6. We also got C#10, so the new C# version, which also has quite a few nice benefits. So and the code will look a little bit different. So it has quite nice implications. We have hit one problem yesterday evening. One thing that doesn't work, and we didn't find a solution out of the box immediately. The .NET ASP.NET code generator is somewhat broken currently. It cannot generate a controller or a Razor page when the model is in separate class library. So the model needs to be the model classes. So whatever the person, ships, board, whatever you have, whatever will be there in the database, at least initially when you want to generate those CRUD pages, if you want to do that one. Then those model classes, they have to be in the same project as the web application itself. Otherwise, everything kind of like works. I mean, the application itself works fine. There's no issues with the .NET. It's just the issue with this Go generator tooling. Whoever has made that one has made something broken now. So when you generate the pages, all those will work, and then you can, like, if you're happy with those, then you can move the model classes back to the separate project. So let's see. Let's start from somewhere. What is new, so you know that what to expect. What will you see? So let's make first a console application. So Let me go to that somewhere temporary. So let's call it the net6 demo. So the first major change is here. This is your whole code.
Yeah.
Where is everything? Like there's nothing there. So idea here is this. There's quite a few things here that are actually working behind the scenes. So first thing is this. Let's go over those. So implicit usings is the first thing. So if we start from the top of the line of the file, so no using clauses here, yeah? So what the hell, where are all those things? So now we have this thing which is called implicit usings. And basically what they mean that behind the scenes, they will generate the file that will include all those using statements. And in that generated file, they will typically add, let's say, 10 most common using clauses you always have, like using system, using system.io, whatever else, like something, whatever else is there. So like kind of like the classical using clauses you always have on top of every file. So those are now like considered that those are defaults, and let's keep them as on always. So you can disable it or just remove it. And now I do this. Now I don't have the console anymore. So now I'm back to the import missing references, back to the using system. So, but since the using system is always like everywhere, so what the hell for? So this is now simplified. So this is okay to make it enable. And then this using system is redundant. Now it's gray, so I can just delete it. Then this thing here, that it is just a console.write line and nothing else. So where is my main and namespace and etc. etc. So where everything went. Idea is this is called now top level statements, and you can have one file in your project that has top level statements, and this one file is now considered the entry point, and the main blah blah blah, the facade around it is generated here automatically. So basically it has the global main arguments, I think even the args is automatically here. So the same way as the using system is always kind of like you have it always in every file. So, and you can have one file with those top level commands or methods and code. So this is considered now automatically that, hey, this has to be the entry point, and the using main is wrapped around here virtually. So if I will do something like this, and let's add a class interface, let's say, let's call it the second. Now everything is red. So both of those are now red, because there can only be one file with top level statements, and this is considered automatically the entry point. So if you make two such files, then nothing goes anymore. So then you need to go back to that you need to wrap those. I don't know even what will happen then if you do two times the main method. No idea. So don't do it. So don't do stupid things. even more. And in theory, I think you can name it absolutely anything. Doesn't have to be a program CS. So you can, if you want to, you can call it I don't know, something like entry point run. Hello world. But there can be only one. Then the next thing that was changed is this. Let's add a class here. Let's call it helper. Look how the namespace is now written. So this is now considered the file level namespace. It used to be this. Both are still supported. So you can write it like this. This is the classical way. And then the question is, why do we need those 4 spaces here all the time? So always our files are indented, 4 spaces to the right. So what for? We have just like this namespace, and this is it here. So what's the point for those curly braces here? So now we have support for this. So now we have saved 4 spaces or 1 tabulation everywhere. So everything moved a little bit left. Both are still supported, so you can choose one or the other one. So the old ones will still work, but the new files you will generate, those will be generated according to the new standard. So with the top level namespace declaration or file level namespace declaration. Then the next thing, what you can do if your application just grows and grows and grows, I will put those implicit usings back to the disable. And let's make here a helper. What can I do here? I don't know, let's write something weird. Public static. Let's call it a string. Let's make it a list of string. Let's do something weird. Let's say we'll convert it to lower and take, I don't know. So what's the problem here? And then I finally need to convert it to the to list. And now I need also console.write line helper.sort new string. So now I have like pointless code. But the idea is that I have quite a few usings now. So this one uses the system collections generic, console app. Helper uses also system link, system collection generic. So, and those usings will continue or be the same in almost every files we do. Because kind of like using the link is kind of like the most common thing what you can do in the C# at all. So we are always manipulating our data somehow and sorting and inserting and doing whatever and working with the databases. So now we can do something like this. Let's add a class interface. Actually, just a random file. And now I can do this. Global usings. I can grab my usings from here. Oh, and now those two usings are globals. Wherever they are declared in the project, those two are now globally imported everywhere. So now I can, those are not here anymore, and the entry point, let's kill those. That's the same. So now those are clean. And this is now automatically imported everywhere. In the project currently. Can be done also actually in the whole solution. If you hover what? Let's say order by descending. Now this one goes to decompilation. I think it doesn't. Yeah, it's probably. And collect those into like kind of like into a specific file that those are all there. Otherwise, if you do this, like I can actually write it here also. Now it's already kind of like confusing where the import is actually happening. What the hell is it? Oh, okay, maybe startup is also okay. But probably something like this, like global usings, is okay. This can be made totally global for the whole solution. You can actually do it, I don't know how exactly, I just remember that I heard it. You can also use this directory build props and make it solution-wide via that one. But I haven't tried it how to do it. But this is quite nice. So basically, what the implicit usings is doing, it's generating its own global import, or adds its own hidden global import, global usings clause somewhere, clauses. So there's about, I think it was about 10 libraries they include. So they analyzed like bunch of code, bunch of open source projects, and took out them like most, let's say, 10 most popular or something like that. Things that everybody's using, and those will be always imported. So this is one thing. Then one more thing. I think we didn't speak about it, and I'm not so sure that it is even there in the old C#, or not in the old writer. So now when we do a new class interface, it offers us this record. So if you have written Java, then you know Java 17 has, for example, records. So what the hell is this? So it gives us this weird thing, public record, test record. And now I can write something like this. String, let's say, first name. And that one has to be with a capital, starts with a capital letter. So what is it? And this is actually shorthand for the class with only properties. So if you have a class with no methods, where you just keep data, you can use it as a record or define it as a record. And the properties, so this is basically a constructor here. So this is like constructor parameters, and based on those parameters, you actually will get the properties in your class. So behind the scenes, it is a class. So it's a reference type. No, it's just like a nicer way how to write the code. There are some changes or some implications what the record does, especially how do we compare that is one record equal to the next one. So the equal comparison is interesting thing. So let's see. Plus record is immutable. So we have, let's write some more here. So what is actually what? So let me create this one again. So I can write it like, no, test record. Oh, default. So this is mutable record, yeah? Now we have also this keyword. We copy it, which makes it immutable. Which instead of the set, we can now write init. So init makes it mutable only once. So as soon as it has the value, then it's closed. But main idea is immutable. So this is the default shape of it. So this will be that this class and this class are exactly equal. So then now we have a new, and those are classes, yeah. Now they add what is new in the C#10 is this. Now you can actually do this and say that it is a class or public class record. Whichever way it goes. No, why can't I? I should be able to. Oh, the name is conflict. Yes. So the class is default. But now we can also do this. and say that it is a struct. And this is a value type. It's not a reference type anymore. So when you copy it, you will always make a copy, not pass a reference along. So sometimes kind of like useful shorthand, you don't have to write that much code. So this is just one liner compared to this kind of thing. Sometimes useful. What more do we have? That would be nice. I think this is it, like the major changes. Like it went a lot faster. Entity framework is now about twice the speed as it had previously. Oh, and now we have this. Although it's once again this is kind of like maybe advanced feature, but we used to write this kind of code. Let's say func int string foo equals. So the string is the final one is the return type. So the x, and we have to return the string x to string. So we had to write it like this all the time. Now we can write actually this. Or the other way. I'm sorry. Int x in this world. So now the compiler is able to deduct or infer what the type of the func will be, or whatever it is. So based on this one here, it can be seen that I can see it with my own eyes, yes, that, okay, it takes an integer and returns a string, so it has to be this kind of func. So now finally compiler is able to do the same thing. Hold on. That one? Yeah, enumerable, as always. Sees that I don't do anything with the list specifically. I don't insert anything or like that. And enumerable is like most generic thing I can choose. So this makes code writing much more like easier, and you don't need to write so many overloads and stuff like that. So it's quite nice actually. So the compiler can figure out what the shape has to be. You have to help it a little bit because from here we cannot understand what x is. So you need to do a little bit help. So you need to point out what the hell the input parameter actually is, the type, but the output parameter can be already detected, and then it makes a func out of it. Works in all cases. Also supports async. So when you start to return a task or whatever, something like that, then it automatically adds all the async wrappers around it. So this works just fine. Then let's make a web application. So it's some kind of web app. Type is WebApp for us, and let's make an authentication. Can be no authentication. So a classical empty Razor Pages web application. So first thing you see here, compared to the old one we did, no more startup CS. That's gone now. We only have this program CS. And if you open up the program CS, it looks like really, really empty. Naked. So first, top level statements. So this is the entry point. One. And the second is now that the startup and the program CS that we used to have is now combined into one. So we start this var builder. Previously, this builder was inside the program CS, inside the main, and all the rest of the stuff was in the startup. So now this is all here. So you don't anymore have this services defined as a separate variable, what we had in the startup, services and configuration. So now those are just builder.services and builder.configuration. But everything else is actually exactly the same as it used to be here. So the recommendation is that when you start to convert, they actually have the migration tool. You can download it. It was released and it supports almost everything. So web applications, actually also Windows Presentation Foundation, so desktop applications, supports all the .NET versions, not just .NET Core, but also like the Windows.NET conversion to the .NET 6 and stuff like that. So they have like quite a good helper utility. It checks all the NuGet packages and what you need and what you don't need, and etc. etc. But the main point is the controllers stay the same, so you don't need to do anything with the controllers views. All this stuff and Razor Pages, all this is the same. The only thing you basically need to rewrite is the program CS. So the program and the startup needs to be generated again. But it's quite an easy. So especially in your applications, it's there's not much there. So basically you just have like database and this is it. You haven't done anything fancy. And I think in my fancy projects, I spent about, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes on it to convert everything together. So with all our HIOS or distributed system projects. No, just like I made a copy, or I renamed the web application to WebApp.net 5. Made a new empty one, copied all the controller stuff over, and then started to migrate or copied lines one by one from the old startup CS into the new one. Yeah, basically you need to change all those like services.add into the builder.services add and move stuff a little bit around. Nothing much. All our like database initialization stuff, everything just worked. So all the commands are still the same. It's still the same add Razor Pages and everything is still the same. So, yeah, and you can actually use the old files as it was, but I wanted to make like everything nice. And yeah, you can like search and replace if you want to, definitely. So all the like Swagger, everything else worked just out of the box. So no questions there. So the only thing, if you want to do like a decent application here, what we don't have here is database. So what I want to do here is builder.services add, what is DB context, add data, what is it? What is DB something context? Or do I need to? Oh, I have one thing missing. NuGet, since there is no database here. So I need the entity framework core. And then actually entity framework core.sql something. I need that one.
So when you migrate it, did you also take yourself the variable of the builder services?
Oh no, I stick to what they generated. Or you can, yes, you can grab it out from here and make it like var services equals. And
remove the brackets.
yep, almost. So now I should be able to actually add the database here. Add DB context pool. Add DB context. And now I need my DB context. So let's make, let's start in the web application. No, I want to have first a directory. First directory. Am I blind? No. Oh yes, sorry, I lost my focus. So that one is called first.dal. So this is our app DB context derived from the DB context. Has one constructor which has to take, this is purely a web application just, so I can base everything on the what is like standard on the web. So it has DB context options, and this is typed against the app DB context itself, and this has to call a base with the options. And this is it, what I need here. So then I can also make directory, let's call it the domain here. And let's make a person. It has a primary key. Person name. Has a max length. And everything is nullable now by default. So I just haven't added this directory build props that it should turn those nullable warnings into errors. So I just have those lines. But the nullables are turned on by default now. So if I go and look into the project file, so nullables enable is now like default everywhere, and the implicit users. So now I have my person class. So now I can actually add it here. Oh, was it DbSet? What? And now I can say that yes, please add the DB context as a service, or it's called options, I think. Typical options. Use SQL Server. And the only thing I need is the connection string. So that one also is coming from the builder.configuration get connection string, exactly the same method as it used to be. Default connection. So the only thing I need now is the actual connection strings. Which I don't have. I have to look it up from somewhere. I can open up a project. Which one I did use here? Yep, that one. So I can just copy it. So this is it, almost. So maybe the only thing I would also like to add here is to have it here. Let me see. This is my yesterday's tests. DB context. No, that one doesn't have it. But if I remember correctly, it was builder services. Add. Let's see, what can we add? There was this database exception, something. DB context, no. Or was it like something developer exception? No, okay, don't remember. But basically, this is just a nice thing to have. So if we generate the web application with the user support, then you can kind of get the template with the database included and see what was done there. So I'm trying to kind of like figure it out of my head without looking it up from somewhere. But basically, we have almost we have now everything we want to have, and I can try to run it. So will it build and run? And yes, it is running. And now we can try some fancy tricks here. Pages, let's see, shared, layout, index. Hello. And if I refresh it, nothing happened. Where's my hot reload? You got the warning? But why don't I get it? Running. Or did I already? I think I turned it off. Let me see. I had some issues with it. I didn't like it for some reason somewhere. Let's see. It's a reload. Hot reload. Yep. Enable hot reload. Let's try it again. So let's see, apply changes, configure in settings, continue without changes. What I can do in the settings? Can't I have it? Apply changes. Yep, without restarting, it went. So the problem, I know that somebody is making a special utility or making that the web application actually will refresh itself when you modify something here, because this is out of the hands compared to the the C# part, and the writer doesn't have any control over your web browser. So how can the web browser kind of like automatically refresh what you have done? But somebody made or is making or made something like that what I remember from the presentation, that there will be some kind of like JavaScript small utility added to the web page that will automatically ask from the server that, hey, do I need to reload this page now? So the hot reload should actually, or more or less, works. And I think I can even tell somewhere here. somehow that I don't need to click this apply changes. So now I need to scaffold the page. So I can grab this one from somewhere. I did have it added somewhere. Okay, here I have the scaffolding plan. So I have my model person, application DB context is wrong. It was app DB context, I think, were created. Pages, persons, yes, everything is the same. Okay, I need to add some packages. So the design package. Okay, one more. Microsoft Entity Framework core design is also needed. And thing was scaffolded. So I can see pages, yep, persons, and I have all my crate and etc. What's from here? Oh, okay, adding namespaces regardless of restarting the application. View action list. I don't know. Oh, but I cannot do anything from here. So restart then. So in theory, I can now go persons, but it should fail with the database. Yep, because I don't have the database. So I need to create the migration and update the server. But now the problem we have is this: if I make a new project here, a ClassLibrary, net 6. Let's call it the domain. So public class foobar has an integer ID. And has one string foobar name. Even has the max length. So this is a WebApp domain. This is just a domain. So let's rename the file. And now if I go into my database, so I need to import and reference. So this is all okay and fine. everything builds and works. And now I should hit this weird problem with this command here. So I will copy it. So now this is the foo bar, and this pages foo bars. Build file. Okay, it's working. So let's stop it. And now I have this. I type with the name foo bar does not exist. And I haven't found a solution for it. I have tried absolutely everything. Okay, not probably absolutely everything. Using fully qualified name, domain.foobar. Does not help. So it doesn't find it. I don't know why. I haven't used the force, but I haven't read the source. Although I have tried it once, we had some kind of problems in a few years ago, and then I tried to understand how this utility works, and this is kind of like, it was so complex that I just didn't have the time to really understand what the hell are they doing. So I even tried this. If I even do something weird, like I can call this here a WebApp.domain. I can forcibly like change the namespace. So now it is exactly the same as this domain here. So now I only have one using here, WebApp domain. Should be exactly the same because the C# code itself is happy. You can see both the person and the foo bar. Doesn't matter if I go into the person, goes into the correct place. Click on the foo bar, goes into the correct place. And still foo bar. Go figure. I have no idea why it is so. And I made a ticket or appended to one ticket. So Microsoft or whoever is responsible for the utility is aware that there is no this issue. Something is weird that they do not dig around in the other assemblies where the class is. Whatever is the reason. But what we can do in that sense is that so let's move that one back to the domain. Is that it's totally okay to move it out afterwards. So I can grab the person from here, cut it, put it into the domain, change the namespace, not manually, but let the writer do it, so it upgrades all the references also. So now here, everything is correct using domain. So everything here is okay, and it just runs fine. So if the pages are already generated, then the .NET itself doesn't have any kind of like issues. So everything works there. So existing project or already existing pages have like no problems. So this is probably the workaround we have to kind of like use temporarily. So initially put your model classes into the web application, generate the pages, and then move them into the correct place. Not the most convenient thing to do, but it's just basically one-time operation. So once the pages are there, then they're there. Anyhow, when you actually write any kind of decent application, then you probably will not use scaffolding at all. So there's nothing to do with the scaffolded stuff. So those are not really usable in any kind of realistic application. Maybe only as a admin interface, or let's say super administrator interface, that you keep them somewhere behind the scenes that you can kind of like directly access the database with those. So there's basically a glorified PHP myadmin or database utility. But if you want to do any kind of like normal application, then you have to rewrite those anyhow, like heavily. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe usable as a starting point that, okay, this is how they do it nowadays. But in reality, when you work with the system a little bit longer, and then you start to write those anyhow from the scratch. So not much is lost, but still it's inconvenience. It should work normally. Definitely would be nice, like during our examination, that this should work. Then will be nice, because then you can move like really fast. But okay, we can put the classes into the web app itself and say that that's the technical limitation currently. And everything else here is the same as it used to be. So there is nothing that much different here. All the controllers or the Razor pages, whichever you take a look at, all the imports, all the layouts, all this system is exactly the same. So nothing has been changed in those files here, although they just work a little bit faster. So behind the scenes they are improved, but in your code base you don't need to do anything. You can just copy stuff over. And if I look at the scaffolded pages now, this one even scaffolds those in the old style. So it doesn't use the top level using statements or file level namespace statements, for example, and adds those curly braces here. So if you want to kind of be in the new style, then you have to fix it manually. Semicolon, remove that one, remove the last one, and reformat the file. Plus bunch of like unnecessary usings that basically are, so all those usings, that one included. So all those are those implicit imports that are actually not needed anymore. I just did it. I moved the person from the domain from here, moved it here. And initially it had this WebApp.domain namespace, and then don't fix it manually, but fix it with the option enter. So let the writer fix it to move it into correct namespace, and writer actually knows that, okay, wherever this webapp.person, webapp.domain.person was used, now it has to be domain.person. So all the pages now here, all the imports are now were updated to the correct using domain. So the copy paste or the move the files around works just fine. So it's just the issue with the scaffolding. And everything else is more or less the same. So there are some changes in the entity framework. There are some other changes here and there, but you are not using anything so advanced about any of the stuff yet. So you don't hit those changes, or better what, you only learn the new way how to do stuff. So for example, the lambda syntax and how the lambdas can now be, or the funcs and actions can now be detected and by the compiler correctly. And so you learn a little bit simplified syntax compared to the old one.
And then go to 10-year-old.
Yes. And then you go to the work and see the 15 years old probably already now or something like that. The old ASP net MVC on top of the Windows using Microsoft Ease web server and global ASACs and all kinds of other like fancy stuff. So they are still alive. And Microsoft said that however it was worded, but it was worded something like this, that the old ASP, the old .NET framework will be supported as long as there is a Windows alive or something like that. So, and they will release a new .NET actually, new .NET framework, which will be then 4.8.1, I think. Yeah, 4.8.1, and it will be working on the REM. So it will be ARM native Windows network, Windows framework. So Windows on the ARM will get, or ARM Windows will get a huge boost from that one, definitely, because you can run those x86 applications more or less natively. So just now they are translating, like Rosetta 2 is on the Macs, on the M1 processors. So they are translating the x86 Windows code into the ARM code on the. It's pretty slow actually, but when they release a .NET framework using the ARM fully, then that should improve also how the old code runs on the ARM Windows. So I think this is it. What I have to say about .NET 6. So basically upgrade, because if you ask any kind of help from us, we are all on the new .NET. So, and German is now especially happy. German now has ARM-based .NET. sul peaks olema kõik M1 peal. .NET 6 on sul ARM, on ju, Rider EAP on sul ARM, kõik on nagu full M1 support. And I'm waiting for my computer, so in a few weeks, hopefully I will get mine. So I ordered the 16-inch thingy as soon as it was released. Actually, I ordered it the day before it was released. I asked that, please give me a ticket into the line. And since the leaks of specs were so well known already, so I basically already had the configuration day ahead the release. So I said I want this, and finally the only thing I said was that I improved. I made the hard disk a little bit larger, but I want like everything to the maximum end. So that one has lasted me now what, 3 years, 4 years now almost. So this is 2018, 15-inch. And typically Mac will last you about 6 years, about that, 5-6 years, at least.
The Air one.
Yep. That's a really nice one, actually.
Yeah, M1.
Yeah. If you're okay with one external display.
But with their like Docker thingy, it's still only sports one screen, right?
No. German can show you. Or okay, we are not using it anymore currently, but I did. Ma ei tea, kas see dokk on sinu käes või? Kuidas sa sai? Või on see mul sahtlis seal või? Aga see teine on ju, mis 2 display'dega, see on seal kapis minu teada. Yeah? You can have it here. So basically if you use, what it was called? Not the display board. What's the thing was called?
Thunderbolt.
Whatever it was, basically it makes a display, additional display via USB.
Mini display or
No. There's a special display link.
Oh, yeah.
Display link, and that worked just fine. So I had 2 4K displays attached to the M1. Sure. So one is natively and one is via the display link.
There's some problems with the VirtualBox. It doesn't work.
VirtualBox doesn't work at all, I think, nowhere, because that one is, I'm not so sure how much they support ARM yet, but Docker works just fine, and Parallels works fine. So, and using Parallels, you can install the Windows, so Windows 10 or 11 ARM edition, and Windows ARM edition emulates the x86. So you can run whatever x86 applications you want to run, so even including the Visual Studio and whatever else. So, and Docker works mostly fine. The only thing that didn't work in the Docker was SQL Server doesn't work, the original one, because this is heavily like file system dependent. But the SQL Server that is meant for the cloud works. So this one is called Azure Edge.
Yeah.
something like that. So we are using that one actually, and since this works both on the ARM and on the x86, so I switched all my SQLs over to that one, even if they are running on the x86 Docker, so on my Linux servers. And the next thing, one thing that didn't work and that didn't have the solution was, mis asi see oli, German, mis meil tööle läinud Dockeris? Sellest Aurora projektist üks image ei tööta meil. Some kind of caching, something. So in our huge customs, European-wide customs, heavily containerized thingy where we have like 15 containers running minimum, even to get the infrastructure up and running. One of the caching something thing didn't work on ARM, but we didn't need it locally, so it doesn't bother.
What do you think about the 8 gigabytes and 16 gigabytes?
16 definitely,
right?
Definitely 16.
For long term.
Yes.
I don't want to change it.
Definitely 16, and definitely definitely Air, not MacBook Pro. Pro is like kind of like pointless. Okay, maybe the screen is a little bit better there on the Pro. It's 100 nits more bright, but this is it about it. Yep.
You have longer term the thermal property.
Thermal a little bit, yes. So Air will throttle after about 10 minutes, then it will overheat. You can improve it a lot if you want to manually. So basically detach the backplate and add a new thermal tape, so it's more evenly spread out. Yeah. That one helped a lot. But what the hell will you do that will hit like 10 minutes of like something? What the hell? Are you editing videos on the Air? So this is kind of like, then this is not definitely computer for you. Yeah. So in that sense, it's really light and thin and nice thing and really small.
And for like, it's 4 tier and it's 4 kilos almost, 3.7 kilos something. And it's not really bad, but it's if this lasts me for 4 years, I think I can use the Mac.
Yeah, and the Air is really cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
Compared to the, okay, maybe the next option will be now the new 14-inch. Yeah. Small, but then there is a price already, yeah. Like quite a big.
500 something, I guess.
It's almost, I don't know. Although this is just a tool, so some customer needs to pay for it. Yeah, 2000 something, let's see. 14-inch, yeah, the cheapest one is this. And this is the bin version, so with the defective CPU. Yeah. You know what bin means?
No idea.
So basically what they're doing is that all the CPUs, all the processors are identical exactly, and then the defective ones, because there sometimes happens defects on when you produce the CPU, they will just switch off those defective cores, and then instead of like, it's actually produced as the 10-core CPU, and then the defective ones, if they're not that defective, it's just only one CPU core is broken, then this one is marked as an off, and then it will be basically a 9-core CPU. Yeah. So they will run like quality tests on the CPUs and detect that, okay, this CPU core is maybe broken or a little bit off, like doesn't tolerate heat that much or something like else, then switched off, and then you will get this 8-core CPU, and same with the GPU cores. Yeah. So all the like components on the CPU, everything is tested, and they can after the CPU is produced, you can still change the CPU configuration internally. So there's like flash utility, so you can flash that, okay, turn this core off, then turn this one off, and turn this one on then, and then you get this like cheaper processor out of it. And let's see, what's the price of the MacBook Air if I want to get that one? Buy one.
We don't have.
So I will take that one. And with 16 gigs of memory, and maybe with. No, there's here. Okay, you don't actually need that much space. That's it. That's enough. Yep. 1,600. something.
I guess in Unity they have right now like discounts.
And you can get student, if you buy it yourself, you can get the student discount from the Apple dealers. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, it's not that much here in Estonia, but still, I think it was like 3 or 5% off or something like that. It's still something. It's money.
Exactly.
It's something. You have to show your easy card or something like that. And the important part is that the invoice will be produced on your name.
Yeah.
So you cannot ask that I'm a student, but the invoice please to my father's company or something like that. So you cannot ask for the value added tax back and stuff like that. But you will get it a little bit cheaper. So yeah, what I will do is upgrade the memory, definitely. And even I would say that you can go for that one, because the difference here is this is also the bin processor. So one defective GPU core, but the CPU is the same. And what the hell will you do with the GPUs? So depending what you're doing, it depends on your money, but still you can see that it's quite expensive actually. It's like 300 euros is the not defective.
Plus the gigabyte change in memory.
Yeah. So if I choose that one.
Not much. 100 euros something.
So this is like really nice computer. Battery lasts forever, and
I think you just without.
Yep.
So it's only.
So look at this, like those two there. Without any like power cords and. See Intelium on seal kotis juhtmed otsas. So it's like annoying.
I've been reading your document for 2 hours.
I think my I have a new battery here on that one, and in the morning I didn't attach my power cable, and I think the battery lifetime was hour and a half or something like that. So at 60 minutes I noticed that hey, now I'm like 30 minutes until it's depleted. So because I have like 2 monitors attached, streaming going on, the Teams video codec is running, so everything is using. Plus I had like this was a hybrid course, hybrid mobile application development. So this means that I had the Xcode open, simulators, Android Studio open, Rider open, Visual Studio for the Mac open. So I had like quite a few things going on.
If I didn't this one.
Always have them open.
No.
Yeah.
It happens. So I'm waiting for the new one. And I asked for the maximum, so 64 gigabytes of memory. And give it to my wife.
She didn't get the new one.
No, doesn't need one actually. She just watches movies and uses Word and stuff like that. No. Töö juurest on mingi tellikärakad on kõikidel. Neil on nagu mingi korporatiivne mingi värk, et mingi kuradi on nii palju probleeme. Pleat on vist 4 korda välja vahetanud või. Kordid järjest ütlevad üles ja väline monitor korraga ei tööta enam. Jälle mingi USB-C ja mingi emaplaat ja mingi asi. Niuke pain on seal kogu aeg. All right, so this is it about .NET 6. So please upgrade or don't. That's up to you. But basically, we are everybody on the .NET 6 already. So if you ask any kind of help or whatever else, then and I need to run your code. Okay, running is okay. I cannot scaffold. So .NET 5 is still installed here. So in that sense, everything is okay. So it's up to you. If you want to upgrade, then upgrade. There are actually quite a few like nice features about it. And definitely next semester, when we start with the distributed applications, definitely everything will be .NET 6 based. And I will update all the slides and entity framework stuff and everything for it. So it will be everything there. Okay, so let's close that one down.
also made first?
What again?
Fails. Kas me saame pausi teha?
Absoluutselt. Do you want to eat?
No lihtsalt nagu...
Aga tohi, let's make a pause. No problems. How long?
Palju. Ma ei tea.
No, mis te tahate? Sure, what do you want to do? Want to go grab a coffee? Eat? So let's, then 15 is not definitely enough. So let's continue in not sooner than in 2:15. So 14:15. So it's 25 minutes. Aga jätkame 14:15. Mitte ennem kui 14:15.
Okay, tool list and then the -G. So these are the two ones that you have. So you need to update them one by one.
Okay.
I finally remember.
Kuidas samad kasvumarketingut paigutada? Kunagi kasveting.ro
sa pead selle sisse ise lugema, see muidu automaatselt ei lähe kuhugi. See tuli kuidagi lugeda, jah? Mina tegin kuskil veel environment'e juurde. Ja, sest mul oli mingi teise nimega mingeid asju vaja, mul ei sobinud need, mis nagu standardis olid. Ja ma tegin täitsa nagu ja hardcode'ilt tegin juurde niimoodi, et ta tahab totaalselt seda replace ida, on ju. Ta tahab seda, et sul oleks, on ju... Ei no, siis saad merge'ida, aga üks peaks teise üle kirjutama, on ju. Et sul on nagu mingi default, on ju. Noh, nagu praeguskin, on ju. Praegust on see, et see upsettings JSON on default, on ju. Ja siis development ja test ja production loetakse sinna otsa. Need kleebitakse kokku omavahel, on ju. On praegust. Kleebib, näed, sul on upsettings JSON, on ju. Ja nüüd on ju siin, et developmentis. See kirjutab üle. No ma räägin, kleebib kokku nii-öelda, või nii-öelda kirjutab üle, on ju. Aga tema tahaks teha seda, on ju, et ma võtan sellest nagu koopia, on ju. Upsettings XYZ, on ju. Nii, ja nüüd on küsimus, mis ta nüüd sellega teha tahab? Et kas ta tahab selle laadida sisse ja selle nagu otsa kleepida ja siis selle veel otsa kleepida või ta tahab upsettings JSON-i asendada sellega ja siis kleepida selle otsa? Või kas ta tahab, et selles suhtes, kuna see nüüd Oota, aga see on nüüd siis, on ju, et üks variant, nii-öelda legaalne variant seda teha on see, et sa teed selleks, on ju, et sa teed siia, on ju, mingisugune, on ju, mingi niukse, jah, upsettings Akaveri JSON, on ju, ja nüüd sa teed endale environment'i sellest Akaverist, on ju, et nüüd, ja kusjuures saad selle teha selle täiesti niimoodi, et sul on, näed, kui siin on ju, saad kirjutada extension'id selle jaoks, on ju, et sa saad kirjutada täiesti niukse asja, on ju, et mina kuskil kirjutasin endale. Et sul on täiesti siin. Tulevad kõik niisugused meetodid. Ma tegin mingi extensioni, ma mäletan selle jaoks. Või ta tahab seda tegelikult täiesti eraldi nagu laadida. Nii. Nii.
Aga seda sa võid ju ainult ühe variaadi sisse lokaalne andmebaas ja pärvel
ei, ta vist mõlemid korraga ei taha kasutada, on ju?
Mitte korraga, vaid nagu ükskord arenduskeskkonna paneb käima, saastub päris.
Just, on ju. Ja ma saangi sellest aru, et tal on nagu, et teekond on ikkagi alati development, on ju, ma tahan debugida ja kõike teha, on ju, et mul on development settingud, on ju. Aga nüüd ma tahaksin oma development settingutes, nii-öelda ma tahaksin saada development 1 ja development 2, on ju. Sisuliselt, on ju. Ja ta tahab midagi selles osas saada, et ta ei taha mitte tingimatult, noh, okei, üks variant olekski teha, on ju, uus environment, on ju. Nii-öelda local, on ju, local development, remote development, on ju.
Ja siis sa saad seda environmenti, sa saad panna 2 run configuration, sa paned kordamööda käima.
Ja, saab panna kordamööda käima, saad igast trikke teha, on ju. Et see on siin, on ju, näed.
Või siis, kuule, veel paremini see, et sa saad teha.
Näed, aga kõige esimene asi, mis ongi, saabki teha selle, on ju. Näed, on ju. Ma võin siia praegu rahulikult kirjutada profiles, on ju. Ma võtan siit sellest en koopia. Remote DB, Akaver ja põhimõtteliselt see juba laebki mulle õige JSON-i. See nüüd laeb juba selle app settings Akaveri sisse mulle. Välja õptud see, et ma tegin selle nimega vea, on ju. Aga nüüd on nagu häda on nüüd nagu selles, on ju, et ma vist pidin siia tegema, mis see on siis, need?
Sul oli olemas.
Jah, just nimelt, see on olemas siin, just, ja vaatan. Aga siin on nüüd proovime kogu, see töötab ka või?
Kui see on nagu päriselt nagu...
Vaatan, ma panen see. Aga siin tekivad teatud probleemid nüüd praegast, on ju.
Selles mõttes, et see annab ainult ühe või ühe asja.
Oota, see on täitsa, see pole see rakendus enam, on ju, mul vales rakenduses. Aga see, mis nüüd praegust juhtus koos sellega, on ju, et ta võtab küll selle õige asja külge, aga mis sul läheb katki, on ju, on see siin. See. Sest noh, ta ei ole enam isDevelopment, on ju, isDevelopment ei ole true enam parasjagu, sest ta ei ole... Jah. Ja siis saad siia kirjutada, on ju, kui sa ei viitsi nagu tugevalt tüübitud seda asja teha, on ju, or on ju mingisugune, mis iganes on ju, environment, equals, ei, seda objekti ei, siin oli mingi asi küll, oot, ma mõtlen, environment name, jah. Noh, mis iganes, aga contains Akaver on ju, blablabla on ju. Aga mina tegin sellele iWeb host environment'ile, kirjutasin selle extension meetodi. Kirjutasin sinna kõik nagu need asjad sisse, mis on vaja olid, et oli ilusti Akaver ja isAkaver ja kuradi kõik tulid nagu välja. Jah. ma ei mäleta, miks ma seda tegin, aga mul oli kuskil vaja mingisugust teise nimega nagu spetsiifilist mingit environmenti kuidagi millegi pärast. Ma ei mäleta, miks. Igatahes ma tegelesin sellega. Aga ma ei mäleta, kus kuradi kohas ma seda tegin, millegi pärast ma oli seda tarvis. Ja siis teine, mis ma tegin, German sulle teadmiseks, see on selles Inventory's näed seda, tekib selline probleem, et kui sa väljastad kasutajale tokeni ja sa väljastad kasutajale, mis tokeni või cookie, ja sa väljastad kasutajale on ju ka security settingud. Sa vaatad sinna, mis nagu täiesti standard cookiedes on, kus sulle tekitatakse. Nagu sa kuskil identity'sse lähed, mingid vormi lähed vaatama. Anti-forgery token samamoodi, siis need on signeeritud on ju suurepäraselt serveri key'ga. Ja kui sa teed serveri restardi, siis see key genereeritakse uuesti. Mis tähendab seda, et kõik vanad tokenid ja vanad cookie'd ei ole enam loetavad. Sest key ei klapi enam, allkirja pole enam. Ja see muidu nagu ei tekitagi mingit probleemi, aga tekitab probleemi inimestele, kes jätavad oma asja kuhugi lahti. Ja siis eriti just Dockerist, sest Dockerist hakkab kurtma midagi, et ma ei suuda seda kuhugi store'ida, seda key'd, nüüd tegime restardi, nüüd genereerib uue key, ja tulemus oli see, et hakati formi submit'id hakati kurele saatma. Umbes, et alguses logisid välja, logisid sisse tagasi, tegid veel midagi, et clearisid oma cookie'd ära, siis jälle kõik nagu töötas. Ma vaatasin, mis kuradi pull siin on, et inimesed nagu kurdavad midagi, et Timmo helistab, et kuule mingi jama, et kuradi see ja teine. Ja meil oli just parasjagu hurraaga tegi mingi muudatus, iga 5 minutit tagant tegin uue deploy. Loogiline samal ajal võistluste regamine käis täie hooga. Loogiline, kuradi kõikid läksid asjad vastu taevast. Ja siis ma pidin lõpuks tegin mingi key storage'i sinna spetsiaalse, mis nii-öelda, ja tegin andmebaasi selle. Andmebaasis on eraldi kabel, kuudes selle kuradi key'd nagu ära salest, see ütles mingi kuid lihtsalt. Ja teine variant saad öelda, et pane ka failisüsteemi, mis tekitab kuhugi lihtsalt mingi faili, kus seal paneb. Et siis ta randomiga enam ei replace'i seda kuradi key'd peast. Aga ma pole niisugust
Tegelikult võtab vana tagasi lihtsalt, kui ta Dockerist ta leiab seda üles, sellepärast.
Mille üle? Selle üle, kuhu ma andmebaasi ConnectionString panna või? Ja see nagu teine küsimus on see, et kus sa tegelikult secret'it hoiad. Kui me hakkame secret'it hoidma. Ja see on nagu ilge piin. See on niuke piin, et silma nägem neile pära, kuidas need secret'id hoida. Kõige valusam, millega mina hakkama sain, oli see, et hoiad selles environment variablis. Juba tore. See on mitu varianti, kuidas hoida. Üks variant on see, et hoiad environment variablis ja environment variable kirjutab üle upsettingud. Kui sul on ConnectionString defineeritud environment variablis õige kujuga, eks see on siis kuju on siis selline ConnectionStrings > application DbContext. Ja kui sul on see defineeritud, siis see kirjutab environment kirjutab alati üle selle, mis sul on upsettings JSON-ites. Kõik oli juba tore, kuni selle hetkeni, kuni ma defineerisin ConnectionStrings > application DbContext. Defineerisin, mitte vaid see default connection. Defineerisin sellise ConnectionStringi endale ja asusin, ma ei mäleta, mille proodi seal tegema, kas Inventory või mingit muud asja. Ei ole Inventory, mingi muu asi oli mul. Üks, mis mul läks kindlasti vastu taevast, oli selle TalTechi orienteerumise andmebaas, kes abajas arvedega. Tegin sellest koopia endale, mis töötas mul lokaalses masinas. Ja siis, et mul oleks mõnus tööd teha, siis ma defineerisin selle remote'i vastu, kui ma seda kirjutasin, on ju suurepärast TalTechi orienteerumist. Nii et minu lokaalne masin lokaalselt environment variable pointis nii-öelda remote on ju serverile meile siia. Ja siis hakkasin mingit järgmist projekti tegema. Järgmises projektis on ju juba tore, tegin uue projekti põhja. Kirjutasin siia config'isse nagu uue andmebaasi nime, kõik asjad on ju. Möllasin, tegid mudelid on ju, lasin tööle. Kurat, mis asja seal kurat migratsioonil nagu häda on ju. Miks ta kuradi nagu viriseb millegi üle kogu aeg? Ei klapi mingid migratsiooniversiooni, mitte midagi aru ei saanud. Mitu nädalat oli mööda läinud, kui seda tegema hakkasin on ju. Siis vaatasin, kurat, midagi on segadast on ju. Terminal lahti on ju. EF kuradi database update drop on ju. Database maha, migratsioon peale, näe, nüüd töötab jube toore, tegin rõõmuga tööd on ju. Ja siis korraga. Ja siis oligi kuradi ellad. Kõik need trackid, need samad need kuradi, kes seal 27 kilomeetrit käis ja õismel matkamas käis ja kõik need läksid kuradi. ja läksin kuradi kurva näoga, võtsin serverist andmebaasi lahti ja vaatasin, ja siia on tekkinud kuradi umbes nagu person ja kuradi kontakt. Põrgut. Tälit. Ja sa täiesti unustad ära selle. Et see on nagu okei, kui sa selles Dockeris seda teed, on ju. Et selles Compose'i failis on ju, paned environment variablitega nagu asjad paika, on ju. Aga pljääd, kui sa selle ära unustad oma enda masinas seda teed, on ju.
Failis või siis seal
ei no kõigil on see, et ära tee seda oma masinas, on ju. Et selles, et ära oma masina nagu lokaalset environmenti ära mine nagu näppima, on ju. Et kui sa sinna mingi jama kirjutad, on ju. Teine komme on see, et ära kasuta sama nagu ConnectionStringi nimesi nagu rakendustes igal pool, on ju. Et see sama, et noh, ConnectionString ja application DB kontekst või default connection, et need on nagu väga head nagu kuradi nimed, on ju. Et parem kirjuta siia, noh, konkreetselt isegi, noh, see application DB kontekst on ka nagu kuradi totaalne pain, on ju, et kirjuta siia konkreetsele mingi selle rakenduse nagu mingi nimega mingi asi sisse, on ju, et see jumala eest seda kuskilt nagu kogemata üle ei lase nagu seda asja, on ju, kolinad, on ju.
Seal tekkis, siis kirjutasid üle normaalselt.
Ei, environment oli minu enda masinas. Minu enda lokaalses masinas oli. Ma tahtsin nagu mõnusalt töötada, et ma nagu ühendun välise õige andmebaasi vastu, on ju. Juba hea oli environment üle kirjutada, juba mõnusalt kõik töötas, on ju. Ja siis unustasin selle totaalselt ära, siis paar nädalat hiljem, on ju, hakkasin mingit järgmist projekti tegema. Tegin korradi uue projekti ja uues projektis ilusti läks ja muutsin siit ära selle default connection ja selle sisu siin, on ju. Default connection tundus mulle tore nagu nimi, las ta alles seal edasi default connection. Ma muutsin siin kõik korralikult ära, on ju. Aga hea, panin tööle, on ju. Vaatan, kurat, migratsioonid nagu virisevad millegi üle. Saab persse, läksin kuradi konsooli, ütlesin kuradi database drop, on ju. Database dropiti ära, pärast seda läksin migratsioonid tööle, kõik oli väga tore. Mitu tundi arendasin ja siis korraga tegin. Oma enda masina, minu nagu bashis, noh. Minu oma enda environment, noh. Kogu aeg oli see seal kuradi küljes, noh. See ikka tekitas minus kuradi... Tekitas minus nagu šoki. Ma ei tea, kas ma siin saan kuidagi vaadata ka environmenti või? Kindlasti saama minna seal lihtsalt niisama vaadata. Oi. Oli juba üks. Ma imestaks, kui mul see siiamaani mul, vist ma äkki vähemalt kommenteerisin ta pärast välja, ma arvan. Ei ole, siin ma nüüd olen maha võtnud need kõik õnneks. Enam ei ole mul midagi siin. Ei, on see profiilis. Ja ikka sellest ZHRC-s oli, jah. Ei, no ongi, noh, ikka valuga. No just, noh, eriti default nimi nagu kirjutada sisse, noh, mingisugune jõuga mingisugune kuradi production kuradi konf. See oli ikka väga valus, noh, ütleme niimoodi, et kauaks meelde jäi. Jumal tänatud, et see ei olnud mingisugune kuradi kommertsandmebaas, sest et ta oli lihtsalt ebameeldiv. Aga nagu oht on jah, et sa võid ka sellega nagu mingisuguse kuradi kommertsi nagu lahti. See on see temaatiline nali oli, et noh, arendaja on ju, et kui sa ei ole nagu, kui sa hommikul ennast üles ei saa, on ju, siis proovi näiteks kogemata nagu production'is mingit table drop'ida, on ju. Siis nagu vaatad, kuidas kuradi nagu adrenaliin lööb niimoodi nagu latva, on ju. Mingit probleeme nagu ärkamisega nagu ei ole, nagu kuradi, ushit, on ju. Nii, läks otsiks midagi tarka endale.
Нет, там это перспективы просто. Короче, это и статьи переглянут. Нашли способ, короче, с определенной частотой времени свой стейт без применения навигации. Что изменится с этого? То есть, грубо говоря, закрытая система, как вы постоянно с определенной частотой меняете из одного состояния в другое. И сначала, короче, было позволено, что я не могу видеть, да, что появляется. То есть, если вы делаете потом, вы как увидеть любого встречается. А сейчас просто задали, что они типа у системы и изменения модели, они будут вступать в активность, и по-моему, ничего, с помощью этого. Казалось бы, что нарушает. Но нет. Вот, но там, короче, я смотрел интервью с теми, кто делает эту тему. они, скорее, что не нарушают, а он скорее находится в таком месте. Или какой-то закон просто как бы не распространяется. Но он как бы не нарушает. Ну, да. И, короче, прощается. И туда есть. Вообще, я еще не начинал эту новость, но чувак, который очень много это постоянно, он сейчас большой развивается, получил маму в университете, с ними интервью провел, я получил типа прям новое, закрылся задание, что для что ja, wat чел найдется только он начал. Просто пароль. Это можно время задавать? Не надо. Если ты задашь время. Да, да, уже даже телефон. Ну, я понимаю, что это был телефон, который поляне, умерли, это абсолютно еще надо было минус какие-то, да. Нет, это максимально экспериментально. Это сложно онлайн. Его первый исследование были пострелено. Вот они сейчас, конечно, все перепроверяют. У них ошибки тоже исследования, ну, в системе. Но если это только новая проекция, которая слушай, знаете, Виктория, скажем, как технология, когда он сначала такие игры, что с этим сделать можно. Слишком там в университете. Конечно, состояние. Да, да. Тоже понятно, что это смотрят состояние, типа, сколько там идет на или что-то там. Там супер какие-то современные новости, я верю, что там слишком нет, то типа он будет запасить десятые минуты скорости. Но потом если первые первый же это не класс. То есть это не так, но это через мало. Сейчас больше не общаться. И то же самое, первое написано, какие планы. И потом через свет 30. Ну что такое, старый как будто бы начало шансы. Что мы не доживем. Ну, даже если доживем, мне кажется, типа тебе 40 лет, да, не очень главное, не верю, причем, скорее всего, там, ну, чтобы это было неплохая реакция. Можно же не сказать, что это фильм, если очень доверяю. Не, он просто состояние, конечно. Да, конечно. Относиться, да. И просто когда это будет. Сейчас же будет правильно. А я думаю, что не это даже не а, да, это плохо. Нет, это начало, а это конец. Да, я верю, что это вообще
Okay, so what shall we do now? Do you need any help with anything, or is everything absolutely clear? So you can just go home and write your final project and be ready. Like sarcastic laugh. Like, because in homework 2, everything is basically specified what you have to end up with. So everything is there. Now the question is, do you need any kind of help or pointers here? How to do what? So actually you have all the pieces actually. So there's like nothing you know everything you need. Now the question is, can you actually combine all those different bits and pieces into working application?
With the brain, the GameBrain, and the web application, like how to glue it together.
Okay, so how much time do we have? Like 1 hour. 1 hour. So okay, so different ideas how to approach it even. So the first question is, shall we do it like correctly, or like some kind of hack? So if you do it like a hack, then the simplest thing is just make a GameBrain static. So then you only support like 2 players at the time, and so you can make it like really like not nice web application, let's say. If you want to do it more correctly, then we need to figure out, because a console application is always in your computer, and there's always like 2 players, or computer and the person, and this is it. But basically there are 2 players. If it's a web application, then there can be like thousands of games in parallel. So how do we support thousands of games in parallel? So even scaling back from that, how do we support 2 players? So how the one game should play? Do we support in that sense that do we make it identical to the console application, that those 2 players have to switch the screen on the same browser? So I'm inputting something now, please look away. Then the next person will click something like next, and then his view will load it. Or so this is like analogous what to do on the console, yeah? Or shall we make it like a decent web application that is actually like 2 different browser instances? Like it's my browser and then it's your browser. So those both will connect to the same server, but you don't get this kind of like screen sharing or swapping that, hey, take the computer and now it's my turn, now it's your turn. Or you can support both basically you can support both at the same time. So in ideal world, I will do like all of those options. So first, that we have the 2 persons using separate browsers, hopefully in the separate computers. Then this option that it's 2 persons behind the one computer using the same browser. And then will be nice, or that it supports like thousands of parallel games at the same time. So you can start like how many sessions, however you want to. So actually nothing of that is overly too complex. So it's not that hard to achieve, or you just need to think a little bit. So let's do it. Kus? Keegi räägib midagi, küsi küsimusi. Ära loeta, tõlgi küsimus. Sõnasta korrektselt. nii, aga noh, kodutöö ütleb seda, et lõpuks on vaja teha, on ju, lõpuks on vaja mäng valmis saada. So actually it's there. We haven't specified those like as a deadline somewhere that now it has to be work. So if we don't specify, so the final thing is here. So you have to get up with the working game. So even if we don't specify like a deadline somewhere in the middle that now it's homework, whatever, 6 or 7 or 8, then this means that finally it has to be done. So before you come to the examination, you have to defend your own project, and then everything that is written here has to work. The sooner you do it, the better, definitely. Otherwise, you keep it till the end, then it's a student syndrome, and then you don't have enough time, and then you come with some kind of half-assed solution, and then we will be really unhappy with you. And then you come to the next semester, and then we remember it, and then you want to go to the company practice, and then we will give you the bad description and say that no, we don't recommend that guy, don't take it. What do you think? What will happen? So all right, so let's figure out most of the stuff on the go. So I'm gonna be nice, and everything is .NET 6. So I start from the kind of like empty thing here, and in the .NET 6. So it's a web application. So and I can, if I want to make the database correctly, so for the web application, I can start with the, so let's say, let's call it some kind of like GameBrain demo. And let's make a really simple game, something. So this is the web, let's make this a web app demo. Web app, let's call it with users. Because I want to see how the database is actually included like originally. So maybe they have, because I know they have this kind of like database exception, some kind of page and stuff like that. So I can copy it over to our own simple thing. So it's a GameBrain demo, web app with users. It's a 6.0, everything else is as it is. And let's put it into correct place. Yep, here.
You also migrate these users?
No, not yet. There's like too much theory behind it, what to do with those users, to do it correctly. So don't overdo it. We will deal with the users on the next semester, like, and more. Okay, so I got my empty one. So now I can see, okay, there's this one, add database developer page exception filter, something. That seems the only one. Okay, let's add a new one. So now this is my real one, web app, and I will remove the authentication. Okay, from here, I can start initially add everything here internally. So let's add those dull. And the domain. So then I can move them out afterwards. So dull has our DB context. So this is the @DB context, which is derived from the DB context, which I don't have. For that one, I need to include this, where is it? Microsoft Entity Framework Core SQL something. SQL Server. I need a constructor here. So this is the DB context options. And I need to call the base with options. It has to be actually context and context. Okay, I have my empty DB context. Now I want to configure this one here. So what do they have originally? Services and that one, and the connection string. Okay. So this is my app DB context. And this is use SQLite, this is use SQL Server. I want the full thing. Where is this thing coming from? Add database developer. Install, okay. Install it, did it went correctly? Yep. What else is there? Default identity I don't want to. And then there is this use migrations endpoint. Okay, this is maybe also useful. isDevelopment, where is it? Builder, build. In the isDevelopment, if it's true. Okay, so it goes the other way. Else, and then do this. Use routing, use authorization. Yep, okay, authentication we don't have. Appraisal, yep, everything else is the same. It's the same, so now I can just delete that one. Plus I need to actually delete it physically, otherwise it sits there. Now it's gone. Okay, now I have my empty DB context, nothing else. So what's the simplest kind of initial game I can do? Rock, paper, scissors, for example. This is like easy game, easy to understand what is going on there. So what do we need? We don't have any kind of options. We don't have anything. We have users and we have GameState, some kind of, yep. So let's add a class here. So what shall it even be? We are in the middle of the game. So there are two players, player A and player B. Those have the name. I don't know, let's call it game. So it has the ID. And if I want to do it really simple, then I have what the ID basically describes the game. So every unique game has the unique ID. We have two players identified by the name. And then we have the string, let's say, and this one I will call the GameState. Okay, if I want to do it more correctly, let's do it this way. Let's add game history here. This one has the no. Integer ID. Then it has the navigation to the game. So it has the game. No, it isn't actually. This one is nullable. Then it has the int game ID. So this is the navigation. And then this one has the game state, which is a string, and it's definitely not a null. So game state as a JSON string. Kind of like the simplest way how to keep. I don't want to do if it's like the Battleship game. I don't want to do like every square as a separate record. Then it's what 100 rows in the database for every game board. So it's 200 for one full game on the standard game board. So it's easier, and I will not anyhow update single ones there that much. So it's kind of like easier to just serialize it into the JSON and say it's just a string and this is it. And I don't put any kind of like max length here, so it can be up to the 4 GB. So now I don't have the game state here. I have here the prop I collection, game history. Let's call it game histories, and this is nullable. And maybe the only thing I need here, one more, is, or that would be nice, is prop datetime. Let's call it the DT. Oh, one more thing that did came out now with the C#. It's a new thing. Again, you haven't had a need for it. German, watch this. There's now date only. And even more, there is time only. So previously, .NET has date time. So it's date and time combined, and we just kind of use the half of it. So either it's a time or a date as we need. Now we have like special types for it, like date only and time only. Makes it a little bit kind of like more understandable. But here I want the date time both, and then even say actually something like this equals date time now. So I can keep track of the when was this last state or the states added. So I think basically this is it what I need. Even before I don't have any GameBrain yet or anything like that, but I mean, probably for my state, this is everything I need. So let's add a new solution folder here, SolutionItems. Okay, I can just do it out of my head almost, so I can just copy paste them once. Yeah. Where was it? Not that one. Yeah, that one. So I need this command, how to generate the pages. So we have the game and we have the game history. Pages, games, and pages, game histories, like that. Is it game history or is it game state? It's actually like more of the game state. Okay, maybe game history, doesn't matter. So let's add those here. And I'm totally okay with the cascade delete. So it's okay. When I delete a game, all the histories will go down with it. That's okay here. So I don't need to configure those manually. Only thing I maybe want to have is, how was it, index? property names, name of date time. What else do I need here? Oh, it's valid on the class declaration only on top of here. Oh, okay. So I can sort and order by the date time easily, because I always need to get like, give me the latest one. So which one is the latest one? Index will help a lot there to find those faster. And maybe those, to be nice, those need to have the max length, some kind of, let's make those quite short. So now I'm good. So basically I need to do a migration now. Oh, and I need a connection string, of course. So that one I didn't copy. So it's a student something like this. So it's application DB context. Okay, now I'm fine. Should be able to do migration. Where did that goes? Not here? Oh, here, for whatever reason. I think I can move those to here. So project, and actually I don't have the project or startup project anymore. So I can do just that. Need that one. Oh, got my migration somewhere. Here. Let's take a look. Int, yes, and char, player 1, player 2, GameState, date time, game ID, primary key. Yep, create index. Nice. Date time index is visible. Yep, everything seems to be okay. And now I should be able to generate the stuff. Okay, I have missing things. So I need that one. More than one DB context was found. Okay, I didn't point that one out. So it generated me a DB context somewhere. Where? Oh, data. Okay. But it's exactly identical. So I can just fill that one. Build failed. Oh, okay, that one now references the wrong DB context. Okay, so let's do it again. Game histories and shared must be deleted. So I had a problem in my command. That one is also a new one here. Don't add me this. So this is still the same. So I actually need this initial. So this is map DB context. Oh, no, migrations was okay. This was just an issue with the code generator. Where is it? Yep, that one here. It's not an application, it's an app DB context in my case now. No, it's .NET DF database update. Okay, that one went fine. So in theory, now I can also do this. Where is the layout? Share layout and add immediately those links here. So it's the games and game history. History, yes, like this. All right, now I'm good to run. Games. Gonna create a new one. A, B, create, yes. And game history, create new one. GameState is something. Okay, got some kind of weird datetime ticker here. Game ID 1. Okay, this one has to be actually JSON. Empty object. Oh, yep. So everything works. Delete. Okay, so my database is kind of up and running. Pages are generated. Everything is kind of okay. Hopefully it's good enough. So I can do now this, add new project. So I want to be actually nice about it. So this is the domain. So I want to move those two classes into the domain. Oh, this is program CS. No. Output type is not exe, it's a class library. So let's add a reference. Now it needs the Microsoft Entity Framework core. And now I can fix the namespaces. Move the domain and game, move the domain. And the same with the dull. Add new project, class library. This is the data access layer. Put everything there. It's the same. Microsoft Entity Framework core. And now everything is okay. So I have my dull and domain as separate things. So okay, now I'm almost good to go. So preliminary work is done. Now I need my business logic. So let's make a GameBrain out of it. So let's call it GameBrain. Okay, let's be more correct. Let's say it's a BLL. And okay, then it's a GameBrain. Okay, what do I keep track of? Next move by, probably. I know. Okay, rock paper scissors only has what, 2 moves, yeah? Like I make a move and then you make a move, and this is it, basically. So there's not that much, and then I need okay, still I need to keep track of the moves. Who is making the next move? So next move either is player A or player B, so somebody has to make a move.
Like a round, like in the first round.
Second round, yes. First round, second round, yes. I know there's only one round, so typically when we play it like humans, you do it dunk, but in the computer you cannot do it simultaneously. So it's like first you make, then you make a move, and then the computer will tell you what happened. So I need to keep track of the moves. Okay, so let's figure out first class interface. So let's call it eMove. So this is enum. So the possible moves are rock, paper, and scissor. Or scissors. Scissors, yeah, like that. Okay, those are the possible moves. And now it's, let's say, so it's a player, let's say, basically I need two moves. So both players have to make a move. So I can just say that's a move, player A move, and then I have a prop E move, player B move, and those can be nulls. So if they're null, then they haven't made any move, and if they're not null, then they have made one of those possible moves. Okay, and then I have let's see, and then I have some simplistic method. Who is the winner? Yeah. Let's call it public string, and that actually this one can be a static get winner. And this winner actually takes should take two moves. So it's an E move, and actually those can still be annullable. Okay, maybe it's not nullable. So don't ask for the who is winner when somebody hasn't made a move. Like it's not logical. And so how do we determine who will win what? So if player E move equals to E move paper, and then we have E move, and let's make another one. Class interface, so a win maybe. So basically this can be tie, player A win, player B win, yeah. So this is our return type. So if, and I can make it really like straightforward manual. Oh, actually we can, no. Let's make it nice. Let's use like nice C# features, yeah. Switch player A move, player B move. So you can switch over two things at once. So we can do now case. Does it like this? So if this one is a paper and this one is also a paper, then return a win tie. And actually I think we can make it a little bit better. So if this one is a paper and this one is a scissors, then the B wins, yeah? Okay, so if this one is a paper and this one is a rock, then player A wins. Okay. So if this one is a paper, then we have the rock here. So if this one is a scissors, then player A wins. If this one is a paper, then player B wins. And now we have the final one. Yeah, I don't want that one. Paper, rock, and this one is a scissors. And this one is a paper. Then the player A wins. And if scissors goes against the rock, then the player B wins. And default return in tie. Like this. And now I can make it into the switch expression. And since I can see that this is just one liner basically, this means I can say this. I should be able to do it like this. All right, like nice and short. And I think all possible options are covered, yeah? Win and loses for both sides. Paper, rock, scissors, yep. Everything is there. So I think this is my business logic. This is it. Seems to be. And now I can make some nice utilities if I want to here. So load GameState and restore GameState. So let's make those. Public string get GameState JSON. So this is my game. I'll probably need a helper for it, I think. So let's make a new one here. So my actual game state is actually those two. Or I can initialize it into the new game state as soon as it starts. So this one returns what it was: system.text.json.serialization. No, JSON. What it was? No, JSON serializer. What serialize? And we will just serialize the game state. And the other one is public string. It's not string, it's void restore game state. String state JSON. Game state equals deserialize game state JSON. This can be in theory null. Don't care. I think this is now I have my GameBrain. I still have 24 minutes to do my stuff. So right, I have my game logic. Hopefully everything is here what they need. So now I need to figure out how to actually get this thing up and running. So if I go here, games, so create new basically should start me a new game. Okay, so when they do this, AAE, blah, 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 create. All right, we have this. Nice, player 1, player 2. So this is one game. Maybe I should also have like game name here or something like that. It's actually not that. Probably not. I need just is the game finished or not, and when was the last move made. So this one has no moves made yet. So now I need one button here somewhere. Start game. Something like this, or maybe here like player 1 make a move, player 2 make a move. So this is kind of like really, really simple game. So let's try to do it. So games index, where it is listed. So we are here. So this one lists all the games, what we have. So we need an action here and actually do something with the game. So what it does on get async, it includes the game. So let's include everything here. So I actually have the game histories also included. Just in case. And now I want to make here a difference. So after the player 1 is listed and the player 2, I want to actually make a move, basically. And this should be kind of private. So how can it be private here? So it needs to open it up in a new tab, let's say. Not necessarily even here. Okay, so let's say I want to do this. So this is the age. What the hell I do now? So it's on ASP.page. Let's say move. Basically, what I need to check now here, can I even display this link? So if and maybe the game is already over, so it's not doable actually anymore. So basically, I need to go and figure out from the state what the hell is it. So what can I do and what cannot I do anymore here? So I need a bunch of basically checks here and see what can I do. So the question is now here, this I think should happen here, or maybe it should happen somewhere here, like go into details and from this, like this is the game page itself, like here the game continues. Something like that. So maybe here the only thing I want to say so maybe I only want to do one additional thing here and say something about the game state here. So I can make a code block initially and figure out my stuff. So I can go to the item, game histories, and I can ask for the last. I can say that this is not a null. Let's say if item game histories, I know that they are always there. Count is bigger than 0. let's say, they can write here something like var status no game yet. For example, no moves yet. So I get this status text, and then I can write it just out. So if there are something, then I grab the last state, and now I can do something like this. Var game equals new game brain. Restore game state from the state. Okay, game history is last, and so it's a state game state. So this is my JSON string. Hopefully it's there, and it's not a null or anything like that. There should be some kind of okay thing there. And now I can check. Now I can check what is going on. If my game dot player move is not equal to the null, and the other one also is not equal to the null. And I can say something like that. Status text equals game to game state, restore game state. What? Public, oh, it's a static, yes. So it's actually not that one, it's GameBrain get winner, and that one needs the that one needs those. No, and I need to grab the values out of it. So it's a value, and that one is also a value. So based on the so those can be, I have 3 possible values, so I can switch it. can make that one a default values. Oh no, no. And the default actually is this, that if it's not those, then it's actually game in progress. Okay, let's rerun it.
So this is just for displaying the game state.
This is class of, yep, displaying of yep, no moves yet. So let's say if I go now to the details, now I should actually be able to play the game. So let's go into the details. So where's the get games? First or default, include game histories. I need definitely those. What's your complaint about the nullables? Which one? Game itself can be yes. This might game. Go to hell. No, it actually has to be this. No, I can do make it just the first. Okay, there is a check here. So then it has to mean that this one is actually game question mark. Then this makes a sense. Otherwise, it cannot be null. Okay, so this one now includes the games with the histories. And I actually only need the last history here. And I can grab that one from here. So what shall it even display? Player 1, player 2. So after the name, basically, somewhere here, or new line maybe here, like make a move for that one. And make a move for the other one. How shall it go? Shall it open up the new page? Or in theory, it can be even here. Yep, I can make it simply here initially, like really like simple thing. So there's this one, there's this one. Okay, let's add a new BR here. So let's make a little bit business logic here. So I actually need the last game state to be accessible. So now again here, I can make my, it's a GameBrain. Let's call it that. Let's call it the GameBrain. So basically I need to restore my GameBrain here. So if the game.game histories count is bigger than 0, then there is a point of doing it. So I can grab it from here. And otherwise, I can make the, okay, I can initialize it even now to the, just to the new game, that one. So it's always there, and then when there is an actual game state, then we can restore it. So this one goes here, this one goes here, GameBrain, and yes, it restores the internal game state. Okay. So if it's, and now I need to check what I display. So basically I need to know when it is possible for the player to make a move. So now I have restored my GameBrain, restored the game state, if it is there. So let's say initially nothing is there. There's just game and no game state. So no moves has been made yet. So this means that this GameBrain will be just a new object. This means that game state inside it has an empty, both moves are nulls. So this means that here I can check for it. So let's make an expression here. So let's try what I need to do. GameBrain dot, oh no, this wants to reference the static. Oh, I need a model, sorry. So it's a model.GameBrain.GameState, player A move. So basically, if this one equals a null, then it is possible to make a move. So I can initially just show a text. And the same is true for the other player. So this is the player B move. Let's try. Games. No moves yet. Details. Yep, both have make a move. So they haven't made a move yet. Okay, and let's say if I want to make this one as a game page, basically in this game, I should hide the move that was made here. So you can either make a move, and if a move is made, I will not display what the move is until the other player is also made his move. Then it's in the secrecy. So basically this is some kind of a link. So make a move. SP page. This is something. I don't know. Move. SP wrote. Let's say player. And we can make it as a string initially. So we can say just what is A. Player B. Okay, let's make it nice. 1 and 2 is kind of like more visual here. And it should be just as a string parameter. So who was the actual player here? So now I need an additional page called a move. Add a page. It's a move. Yep, make a move goes to the game's details ID2. Wait there. Game's details ID. Okay, those are the old ones. So ID2 and that one also ID2. Yeah. That's for player 1. ISP page should be okay. What? Yep, games move player 1, games move player 2. Nice, correct. So on get, now I have this string player coming in. And what shall it be? Theoretically, you have like a form with like 3 buttons, like this, that, or that, or something like this. And I actually also now I'm running out of the time. Actually, also what I need my database here because I need to update. I need to update also the state. So this is the on post. So when you actually click submit on the form, I need to update the state. First, I need to read back what the state is, just in case, because maybe the other player made the move already. So because this is async, I don't know when that might happen behind the scenes. So I need to read back the state, update it, and then immediately save it again. And hopefully we don't get the collision. In theory we can, but hopefully not. And then when this is done, I need to redirect from here. I need to actually do this. So it's task iAction result, I think. So it's the same as in the edit. Yep. So here. So you can see that they do this at the end. We actually don't need a task here, but it's kind of like nice. So now this goes always back to the index page. Basically to the index. We could also go back here into the details. But then if both have made a move, you have nothing to do here. So the other one should be the other. Yeah. So index is probably like, and then you can see what happened there in the index. Or okay, or you can go back in the details. Probably in the details we also should show that make a move, and then when the move is made, then write out who is the winner here. So probably yes, maybe details. But to go to the details, we also need the game ID here. So we are missing that one. So it actually should be int ID also here somewhere. So we need that one also. So when we go here from the details, so let's see how they do it from the index. Yep, the same AS route ID, item ID. So we need it here also. And it's not an item ID anymore, that's the what? Model.game.id. And the same one here. Okay. But now again, I can make it really quick and dirty. I have 9 seconds. So let's make a shortcut here. Details, where are you? Yeah, 4, 5. We do it on the details. Make a move, so we go into the move, and actually let's do it here. So we have the int ID here. So we have the actual game also, and who is the player. So we can repeat what we have here. So I need DB context. And I need to initialize it from the constructor. And then in the onGet, I need to actually So I need both game and GameBrain here. So if id is null, if this is null, so this all is the same. So this is async task iAction result.
Why do we use task?
I hope I did explain it, I think, somewhere, but the idea is this. We have two types of parallel processing. So one type of parallel processing is that you try to calculate something in parallel. So this is a really, really complex thing to do. Like, this is extremely complex. Even at first, it's technically complex, but technical side is nowadays mostly okay, but then it's algorithmically complex. It's really hard to figure out how to calculate something in parallel. For example, try to calculate prime numbers in parallel. Can you do it? Probably not, because every next prime number depends on the previous prime number, so you cannot parallelize it. So this is like one side, but the other side of parallel calculations or doing something in parallel is this, that we are making a database query. The database is external, and in our case, it's really easy external. So this takes a few seconds. Why do we like hang our web server or the thread where the web server runs? Why do we hang it? Can't we say that to the hey database, we ask for the result, and then when the result comes back, then please notify us that hey, now we have some data for you. And meanwhile, these 2 seconds till we wait, can we go out back to the web server and say that hey web server, take an extra request meanwhile? So we don't do actually ourselves, nothing in parallel, but we allow a web server to do work in parallel. And this is like massively recommended. Scale of a web server goes from about 200 parallel clients to the about 20,000 clients. So it's a huge, huge, huge improvement, how much parallel clients you can support. And for this kind of work, we have this async task. So basically the task here means that we don't return necessarily a ready-made result. We return a status that the task contains the result when it gets done. So you can ask from the task that, hey, are you done now? And if the task is done, then you can continue with the stuff. So basically here, this first or default async returns to us a task. So the query is ongoing somewhere. And here this await means that, hey, stop our process here. Let the web server take the next request, but meanwhile wait. And when the result is there, then please jump back here and give us the result and assign it to the game. So here in this, here in the middle of a wait, we allow a web server to take the next request, if there is any. So for us, kind of like nothing changes. Just we need like some keywords here. But kind of like the idea here is that when we await something, we allow some other process to continue behind the scenes. And you actually don't need to await. You can start many processes in parallel and then say like await all. So await for when they all are done or something like that. So in the context of databases or database, we only have one database connection, and it's not recommended to do anything there in parallel, or it's like strongly recommended against, let's say. Because you can get conflicts. But some other stuff, for example, like web requests, when you want to download pictures from the internet, you can easily start up like 10 different HTTP threads, download all the pictures at the same, and at the end of your procedure say that, hey, wait for them all. And then you get like 10 parallel downloads, which makes your method basically 10 times shorter on the runtime, because you can do like download everything in parallel. So that's why this stuff is here. Once again, this is something we will like by default, it's using all those async tasks. You can like remove those, and you can just remove the keyword async from the end, and then it's like synchronous. But then you are making like forced pause, like don't do anything else. We need to wait here. And nothing happens in your own computer because you're like alone here. But if you have like 1,000+ clients, then it will make a difference. So that's why it's there. So let's see. My shortcut is that I want to generate the state randomly here. So I have my game. I don't want to return a page. Now again, if I have my game, I can restore my game histories if I have any. And now I have my string player. Väga vägev. See ikka juhtub minuga niimoodi. We will continue. I will make it really fast now. Or I try. At least I have an idea in my head what I'm doing. If we have this, if player equals 1 and GameBrain.GameState.player emove equals null. So now we can say that that one will not equal null anymore. Switch. I know I can't switch. Prop random. It's not too public. It's private. Okay, now I have my random number generator. Now I can do switch R&D next. Int max value, int min value. That is 0.3, I think. No, not switch. Oh, actually, because I don't need even that one, I can just cast it. GameBrain, GameState, player a move equals. Since actually all the enums are integers behind the scenes, so I can just cast my integer from 1, 0, 1, 2 into the emove. Emove had 3 options. So that one is that one. If the second one is to 2, then it's a player b move. And actually now I can take something like this. Game. Now I should have a new game history. So I have the game ID. This one equals to the ID. This one has the value, and h dot GameState equals what I have. GameBrain. No, I want my own GameBrain here. Context.gamehistories.add. And that one I need to await. And I can just return to the page. Is this okay? If the player is 1 and there is no player A move, then please generate a random move, update the game history, set the game ID. This should be correct one, hopefully. Generate a new game state out of it, add it to the context, and finally redirect to the index. Let's see. So it's games, details, player 1 makes a move, game is in progress, details, no idea what the move is, but I cannot make any other one. Make a move, game in progress. Why it's game in the progress? Shouldn't be anymore. Okay, let's see game history. Player A move is 0, player B move is null. Why that one happened? What did I make? I was almost there. I have a player B move, game history is add. That should add a new one. Yep, true that. That one is correct. And let's say games. Can I still continue the old one? Make a move. A1. So now I should just make a nicer UI that there's like buttons you can like click that rock, paper, scissors. But basically this is it, and this should support me however games in parallel I want to. So although this is like really like simplified example, maybe tic-tac-toe would be like more like realistic. But the idea is here visible. What do you need to do?
Can you also edit the?
Yes, absolutely. So this was me turbo programming. It's not that hard. It just takes like 20 years of experience and day in and day out and all day and night long, and there it is. So where's our stuff? Create the blank project, public. There's no ignore here, yes? Which one thing? Oh.
Maybe for developer security.
What?
Are there going to be like any for classes or that was the basically?
Kus on siia sattusin?
Right.
Oot, what did I do now? What the hell? Oh. Do you need some classes? Or how are you going with the labs?
They're pretty good.
I know we have spent quite a few years on them.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm just asking, like, do I need to come here?
Probably not. I think
Okay.
you have like plenty of labs to do, and so I think not yet. I will try to specify on Monday what you actually need to do on the labs. So probably you don't need to do them all. Like you need to do like, let's say 80%, and then there are a few mandatory labs. But you definitely need to do.
By the way, the deadline is showing 20th of January.
Yep, that's the final. That's when I need to close the EIS down and the grades have to go out.
All right, because it's almost the end, start of the second semester. So.
Yeah, that's the last day when the examination is over and they need to close down the EIS. So the grades have to be out then.
Thanks.
Mis ma nüüd küll tegin? Push an existing folder, seda või? Kuidas ma niimoodi oskasin? Nii, õige. Nii, nüüd võib kinni panna.